What is up, YouTube? How's everybody doing today? This Everything is Tech here from everythingistech.com and socialwallpapers.net, and in this video I'll be bringing my review of the Motorla Droid X2. This is the latest addition to the X series, and I'm really excited to get my hands on this. I've had this phone for about 2 months, so I'm definitely ready to get my review out on this phone here today. So in this video I'll be going over a lot of different topics. I'll be going over just the operating system, the phone overall, and how the quality of the calls are, how well the videos come out from this phone, the speeds, and everything else that you really want to know about this phone. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. So as far as the specs go on the Droid X2, it does come with an operating system of 2.2 Android, but you can also upgrade that to Gingerbread if you don't like the 2.2 operating system. In addition, this does have a 4.3-inch display, and that is touchscreen, and does have a resolution of 960 by 540. As far as the storage option goes, you do have an 8 gigabytes of internal memory on this phone loaded once you first purchase it, and it also does come with an 8 gigabyte of micro SD card. Now, you can actually always upgrade to a 32 gigabyte micro SD card if you do find yourself a little bit low on space. There is also one camera on the Droid X2, which is in the back, and that is an 8 megapixel camera that takes 720p HD video. And to top everything off, this does come with an 8 hours of battery life. So taking a really quick look at the phone itself, in the front we have the actual 4.3-inch screen, and in the 4.3-inch screen size, you also have the included bezel, which is about a few centimeters long or thick, that extends from the sides. And in the top part of the bezel, you have the Motorla logo, and above the Motorla logo, you have the call speaker. So if you put this against your ears, you can hear the other people or other person on the line on the other side. And then all the way in the bottom, on the bottom part of the bezel, you have the Verizon logo, because this is a Verizon certified phone only. And below the logo are 4 buttons. From left to right, you have the settings or options button, and this pretty much brings out any of the options in any of your applications. Then you have your home button, and then after the home button is the back button, and all the way to the right, the last set of buttons from left to right is the search button. This allows you to search your phone, the internet, or Google, or whatever you set this up to be. And then right below the set of buttons is the microphone. Taking a look at the right side of your phone, you have your volume buttons, which allows you to control your call volumes or your speaker volume or even your ringtone volumes. Then on the left side of your phone are your 2 inputs on the bottom, and from left to right you have your USB input, which allows you to connect your phone to your computer to sync it, and allows you to connect it to a power input so you can charge your phone. And then next to that input is your HDMI input, which allows you to connect your phone to a 1080p or 720p HD television. But just be aware that you must actually buy separate cables so you can connect your phone to your television. Now looking at the top of the phone, it is a little bit slanted towards the bottom so it can make way for the camera. But looking at the top of the phone, that one button in the middle allows you to turn on or turn your phone to sleep. To actually turn your phone on, if it's in sleep mode, all you have to do is click the button once and your phone turns on. If your phone is actually powered off, you'd actually have to hold the button for 2 seconds or 3 seconds to turn it on or off. Then next to the actual button itself is the 3.5mm jack input, which allows you to connect your headphones, and all the way towards the end is your microphone, which is the second microphone on your phone. Taking a really quick look at the back of the phone, on the top where you have the curve or the sort of kind of curve on the phone, you have the 8 megapixel camera, which has the capabilities of taking 720p video as well. Then right below the curve is your latch, which you can just pretty much pull out, and in there you can actually attach a new battery, or you can put in your external micro SD card. And then all the way in the bottom, right below the latch, is your internal speakers, and from the speakers you can actually hear your call. And if you're actually on a call and you click speaker mode, this is where the sound comes from, that small little speaker. And if you listen to any music or media without headphones, your sound is really going to come out from that small speaker. Then right below the speaker is your small microphone, and that is the third microphone on your phone. So on my Droid X2, I am running Android 2.3 as the operating system, although you do get 2.2 with the phone once you first take it out of the box, and you can always upgrade it to other versions of the operating system. But I do like 2.3 because it has less bugs, and it's overall as an improvement from 2.2. So this is the Android interface. I really like the interface, and you can do a lot with the interface. If you just go ahead and click on the home screen, you can add or change the wallpapers, you can add folders, you can have shortcuts, and you can have widgets. And the widgets are pretty much the best thing, and the Android widgets allow you to choose from your apps, and you can have like a short version of the app on your actual phone itself. And you can choose from a lot of applications or from applications you've downloaded. For example, I have my Shazam app, which allows you to identify a song that's playing. So I can just go ahead and click the small button right from my home screen, and it allows you to listen to the song, and you can just find the name of the song right from the application itself. that's on the home screen. So I don't actually have to go through all my apps and look for the Shazam app. I can just go to my home screen, click that button, and it already starts listening to the song, which is a fantastic feature. And I really like that Android does offer all these widgets and all the applications on the Droid X2. So now let's go ahead and take a really quick look at the web browser and this search up at Google. And the best thing about this web browser is that you can view the desktop version of a website, which is fantastic because I like having the no limitations on the web browser. You do lose a little bit of battery life from using desktop versions, but I just enjoy it. So here is my YouTube channel. Videos loaded really quick. I'm just going to go ahead and select a video really quick. And it takes a little bit of time to load, but once it's loading and it's done loading, finished loading, depending on if you're on a 3G or Wi-Fi, the videos really rarely stop for me. They never stop to buffer. They just start playing without any stops. So here the ads already start playing, and then it takes you right to the video without any lag or anything. And you can also full screen it. And if you like the YouTube, or you just like viewing YouTube videos, you can just use the YouTube application that comes on your phone. So in the end, I really like the operating system on the Droid X2. It has many apps. I think the Android marketplace right now has about 300,000 apps, which are a lot of apps, and that includes paid apps, free apps, etc. And overall, I think the operating system is a well done, and without the operating system, I don't think the Droid X2 would be the same. So the call quality on the Droid X2 is really good. Works as any phone would as far as the call quality goes. Works fine. I've never had a problem with it. And I'm gonna go ahead and really quickly demonstrate a call on the Droid X2. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my iPhone 4 to call myself on the Droid X2. And I'm just gonna want to cover the number because I don't want you guys to see the number. But once it's done, go ahead and answer it and put it on speaker and say hello. Hello. And I mean, it doesn't sound that well because the phones are right next to each other, and that would cause a lot of echo and stuff. But as far as the call quality goes on the Droid X2, it works really well. The only time I've actually ever had a problem with it is when I was like maybe about a few months ago, where I actually had to restart my phone because I couldn't hear the person on the other line, and they couldn't hear me back, and that was a little bit frustrating. But a simple restart fixed the problem. But besides that, the call quality on the Droid X2 works fine, never had a problem with it, and it's a really nice feature on the phone. Now, the battery life on the Droid X2 is pretty decent. It lasts you for about 4 to 5 hours, depending on what you're doing. I usually do pretty much everything on my phone. I browse the web, watch YouTube videos, make phone calls, use applications, and pretty much everything you would do on a phone. And the battery life does last me a couple of days, and I don't use my phone that often, maybe about a few hours a day, and I can definitely get a few days out of the battery life for my Droid X2. And the best thing is that you can swap out the battery. So for example, if you're using the phone and the battery randomly dies and you have a backup battery, you can just take out the latch, plug in the battery, and turn your phone on and start using it back again without any hassle. And that's the best part about the Droid X2 as far as the battery goes. So the camera on the Droid X2 isn't the greatest thing you probably have seen on a phone, but regardless of that, the Droid X2 is a phone, and being able to take some decent photos from it definitely is well worth the money, especially when you do buy the phone. And honestly, I've taken some decent photos from the Droid X2, but they're not going to be compared to a DSLR camera or an actual digital camera, because the Droid X2 is a phone, and you obviously shouldn't expect to take magnificent photos from a phone. And I mean, honestly, I have taken some really decent photos. The one you're seeing right now is probably one of my favorite photos I have taken from the Droid X2. And now here's some other photos I have taken from the phone itself. And I mean, honestly, the composition and the color quality is alright from the phone, and it really doesn't look that great, but I mean, honestly, it gets the job done, and it acts like a really decent camera. And you always have to remember that this is a phone, not a camera, so you can't judge this based on just how the images come out. And I mean, honestly, I've taken some decent photos, not the greatest amounts, and they're alright. So the one thing I just want to mention about the camera is that it does have dual LED flash, so that really means the camera will work really well in low light conditions. Now the biggest question Droid X1 users probably have is that should they upgrade to the new Droid X2 or stay with their Droid X1? And honestly, I would stay with the Droid X1 because the difference between the two is really small. You really cannot tell the difference if you put the two phones side by side, because there's really no physical difference except for the fact that the Droid X1 has an extra button, and that is pretty much it. As far as the specs go, the Droid X2 has better resolution and just better overall features and specs. And as far as features, I really do just mean specs, because the Droid X2 has like a dual core processor, and that's pretty much it. And the only thing you're really going to find a difference in the Droid X2 is that it's probably going to perform a little bit better than the Droid X1. You'll probably have faster web browsing experience, and that is pretty much it. And so frankly speaking, I don't think the Droid X2 is a good upgrade from the Droid X1. But for those people who don't have a Droid X or a Droid X2 and they're really planning on getting a Droid, the Droid X2 is definitely a really great phone. Definitely will suit your needs. And I mean, I really don't think you can go wrong with the phone. For the pricing, this costs only $200 if you're buying this from Verizon with a contract. If not, and you're just buying this phone itself without the contract, it does cost about $550. So depends on how you're going to buy the phone and what you're going to be using with the phone. But overall, I think this phone is definitely a great purchase. You'll definitely like it if you go ahead and make your choice to go with the Droid X2. And honestly, from the video itself, I hope this helps in making your decision. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And this has been Everything is Tech from everythingistech.com and socialwallpapers.net.